What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode 39 of MorWrestling's podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Morrison. I am joined today by two-time New York State champion, Carter Baer. What's up today, Carter? Big day, huh?
Yeah, big day.
Tell us a little about what happened. I know, and I think I alluded to it last night on the last night's episode that you were down in Binghamton today. Tell us about your trip down there.
It was a great trip. We went down there, and no athletes are on campus right now. Really, no one was on campus, so it was just us, me, mom, my dad, and the coaching staff, and they just showed me around the campus and showed me the wrestling room, weightlifting. I got to meet some people that would help me out there, like the strength and conditioning coach, and then one of the teachers that would help with like academics and stuff.
Yep.
So it was cool. And then we went out to eat lunch and kind of wrap things up at the end.
Yeah, so you wrap things up with some big news, and it's kind of blown up on Twitter and Facebook, and even Instagram, right? You posted it. What's your future plans in the next 4 or 5 years after you graduate high school?
I'll be going to Binghamton to wrestle, obviously, and yeah. I didn't even know if I was going to commit today or not, but in hindsight, I'm really glad I did and had the opportunity to. So after everything, we kind of just went down to Borshoff's office and a little bit of small talk. And then there's a little bit of tension. It was kind of awkward. My dad was like, he's like, "What do we do now?" He's like, "Well, the ball's kind of in your court." So everything just felt so right, and everything felt, like I said, like right, comfortable, and I was like, why not? So I said, let's do it.
Right. So you kind of alluded to it was an unofficial visit, right? I believe the guys come to Binghamton in July, and I think you plan on going down, for a regular official visit, kind of get all the bells and whistles, right? You get to go down there and kind of have a little bit more benefits as an official visit, and experience it with the team. But like, tell us, there's Jake Nolan and Micah Rose. What does it mean to be heading to Binghamton and being teammates with some of the Northern boys?
That it just makes it that much better. I've seen those guys at a lot of tournaments, especially when I was younger. But North Country and Peru, I've seen them, and I've trained with Michael a lot. So yeah, definitely, I've stayed in touch with those guys too. So that's been pretty cool too.
Yeah. So besides them, Northern, like they went, I believe they both went 1 and 2 at NCAA's this year. But further back, you remember Justin Lister of South Jeff, another guy from the Frontier League, North Country area. Right. He was an All-American for Binghamton back in 2010, I believe it was. Like what does that mean? Like, and even like, obviously you got a guy like Donnie Vincent that was an All-American down there. He came out of a small school. Nick Wisdowski, he was an All-American down there his freshman year. He came out of a small school. Like, obviously there's big schools, there's small schools, there's, the mediocre, medium-sized schools, but like, what does it mean to, go to a program like that and know that you can have success right away? And in coming from a small school like, Governor.
That's where a lot of the comfortability comes from, I think. And I don't know, it's definitely a fit for me. Everything feels right because it's what I'm used to. Even like the location and it around the campus, it looks like what I would like look out my window and see, like with the trees and stuff. It's like the same type of stuff, and I don't know, I like all that. And especially like you just said with the small school stuff, everyone in the coaching staff went to college at a small school too, and they all succeeded. So that I think that is pretty cool too.
Yeah, Borshoff. Obviously he went to American. I've got like, I think like a couple of months ago I was supposed to interview him. Things didn't work out, but I know I wrote up a good article because I remember Borshoff and I think he talked about it on your visit, but his days where he went to Mitch Clark's boot camp, right? I remember him when the Pittsburgh crew and all them back then, and it's just kind of cool to see him as a high school wrestler to a college wrestler. Now he's a Division I head coach, right? He was at the Wildcat Wrestling Camp back in I think 2014 or 2015 when you were just a wee little lad. It's kind of cool to see now you're going out there and wrestling for him. So that's pretty interesting. I like to see that. But let's talk about June 1st, right? June 1st is when dead period ended. Obviously, you can have contact with coaches, before that, but like you really can't have, big contact visits and especially like official visits, right? You weren't able to go to places and visit, before June 1st. June 1st hits, who was knocking first, right? Sounds like Coach Borshoff, right? He made that official visit to your house. Kind of tell us what that meant to you.
It meant a lot because they definitely made it clear that I was a priority to them, and that's a good feeling. So like, it's like it definitely showed the commitment that they had. That on the day after the dead period was lifted, that they were going to drive 3 hours down to my house, throw us back on a weekday. Like, yeah, that meant a lot to me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Your dad told me stories like obviously Borshoff was in town and he runs into Stewart's and people obviously know who you are because this is a small town and somebody obviously mentioned that they were a wrestler too, but obviously it's just this is kind of speaks to who you are. Like obviously two people in Stewart's, Governor of New York, knew who you were. Obviously small town. It just shows your work ethic. But yeah, June 1st is it's weird because 2 days ago, yesterday, June 15th is when college coaches could start, talking to class 2023. So it is a very tight window where they're recruiting obviously for, this upcoming year, seniors like yourself, and then right class 2023. You really got to, jump the gun on those class 2022 guys to, see where they're looking and obviously, push as coaches, push the recruiting process so you can get guys like you and then obviously go after guys like, we got Tyler Ferreira, Sam Sorensen, Max Gallagher, the top three that we just mentioned in our top 10 rankings. But, talking about your recruiting profile kind of went off with a big hit. We had, I don't know how many likes and views we had, but obviously Zach and myself put together recruiting profiles. And it's I believe Borshoff and Coach Micic and Garcia, they were liking the profiles. Like what did that profile kind of maybe mean to you, right? I mean, you saw it on Facebook, you don't have a Twitter, but there's more and more Division I coaches following, whether it's your profile or Jaden Scott's profile or Carter Schubert's or whoever it was in the class of 2022. But it kind of got things booming for you guys in the class of 2022.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great because, like you said, it helps get your name out there, and it helps make certain kids like the focus of another coach's attention. And yeah, it definitely helped. It helped me and it helped a lot of other kids, I would have to say.
Yeah. So you obviously I've known you from you tiny little guy, right? When you were a baby. At what age did you know you wanted to be a college wrestler, right? You had success. You placed in the States as a 7th grader, placed in 8th grade. You were injured your 9th grade year. You couldn't wrestle. You win a state title your 10th and 11th grade year. But like, what age did you realize you wanted to be a college wrestler? You wanted to, have a few more years of wrestling after high school, and even so at the Division I level.
Really, ever since I could like comprehend what came after high school wrestling, that's when I wanted to. But every little kid like says that. But then as I started to grow up and into middle school and I started to work really hard, then I really knew that I wanted to be a college wrestler.
Yeah, looking back, like obviously Governor, right? Even like the North Country, right? We had Division I wrestler a few years ago, Nolan Terrence of Messina. He went on to wrestle D1. I think Sean Brown kind of went to Buffalo. We had the Barreros that actually were teammates with Coach Borshoff down at American, the Messina guys.
Yeah, he's got some stories about them.
I bet he does. They're pretty intense people.
Yeah.
But so we've obviously got them, but like looking at Governor, right? We've had Dylan Stoll and Hunter Ryan and Joey Bush wrestle in college. Cutting it back, I think the last guy to wrestle for a Division I school was Brandon Scott. He wrestled for James Madison. RIP to the wrestling program at James Madison. But I think that was the last guy, and that was early 2000s, right? I think he graduated in 2002 or 2003 of Governor. So, yeah, it's been 20 years since we've had a Governor wrestler wrestle on the Division I level. It kind of speaks volume, I guess, to who you are. But what does that mean for the younger generation? I'm not even saying, let's say Governor, but like just the North Country itself, right? We've got guys like Mike Rose and further up the road, Jake Nolan and yourself that are wrestling at the Division I level, the cream of the crop.
It kind of just shows, and it can let a lot of kids know that location really doesn't have much to do with how successful you can be, because there's always a million excuses not to do something, and there's always going to be the closest place. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be somewhere that you can go to, even if it's a little ways away, and everyone has to make their sacrifices, but it's going to be worth it, and you can still succeed.
So this summer you're going to Fargo in a month. Do you have any other, plans of wrestling this summer, this fall? What is it going to look like between now and your senior season?
Fargo, and then I'll go to TI duels. And then honestly, if like something else pops up, which I'm sure it might, like a dual meet tournament or something, I'll probably do one or two of those, but I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do any big tournaments in the fall.
So that, yeah, what's your plans for your senior season, right? I mean, some guys go out and set a goal for themselves. Obviously, you're the reigning, defending 2-time New York State champion. What are your goals? And I think what weight class do you see yourself wrestling next year at the state level?
I'll probably start out like 170. Is it the 172 weight?
Yeah, the weight's changed, and I mean we didn't really follow them this year in our season that we kind of had up here, but I think it's 172. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the light 70s weight is, I'll wrestle that probably first half of the season. Then second half of the season, I'll be back down to 160, just because it's not even that bad of a cut at all. Right. I feel like that's where it should be. So.
Right. So you're taking your official visit in July. What's a few things that you're looking forward to going down there and taking your visit?
Get to know the team, hang out with teammates and stuff, and I'm really excited to work out with them and train with them.
So
really,
yep. So you mix a Wildcat and you mix a Baer, you got a Bearcat, and not just any Baer, right? We got Carter Baer, right? So that's just interesting. A little play on words, a little something I like to throw out there on Twitter. And the last thing I want to leave you with, and I probably should have messaged you before because you just made your commitment to Binghamton, but we know the hashtag Embrace the Green. What does Embrace the Green mean to you?
Kind of just, it means like embrace everything about the program, embrace Binghamton University. You know what I mean? Embrace what's going on there, and yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, so a 3-hour car ride down to Binghamton. I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of Governor fans in the next few years come down to Binghamton. I'm going down. I mean, Borshoff kind of jokingly said I got VIP tickets, so you're gonna see more wrestling go down there, and hopefully go to every single duel that you guys got. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to all my coaches and support system that have helped me get to this point. Yeah. Great. I appreciate all those guys, including yourself.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, we're trying to do, I just got a message from 2 or 3 other guys in like the class 2023's parents messaged me, thanking me for, just kind of getting your guys' names out there. And I want to thank you for letting me break the news, right? I was the first one to break the news for Carter Baer going to Binghamton, right? So it was kind of exciting to do, and I'm glad that we got that edit out there. So shout out to Bo Bartlett for hooking us up with that edit. It's sweet. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, Bebo, and I'm gonna catch you probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, peace out, man.
Peace.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you liked the video. Hit the like button, comment down below, hit subscribe. Come back for more next time on More Wrestling.